Hello my loves, welcome back to my bullet journaling channel and welcome to our February 2026 Bujo setup. I'm about to say something a little crazy, especially if you've seen the thumbnail of this video and you know what the final cover page is going to look like for this setup. But recently with my journal, I have been craving some simplicity. I have never been the type to be a minimalistic journaler. Even when I try and verbally say I'm going to do a month that is more minimal, a theme that is more simple, I always end up making it more complicated, making it more busy and more extra than it needs to be, or that most minimalistic bullet journalers would say is minimal. But when I say that I've been wanting to take things back and just be more simplistic with my bullet journal recently, I mean that so far this year in 2026, I have only used water-based markers and drawn directly into my journal. I haven't been using alcohol markers recently. Now, I love alcohol markers, but the reason I've been doing this is because it brings me back to my roots of bullet journaling. When I first started journaling back in 2020, which is 7 years ago, which is crazy, I started with just a couple of pens, black pens, a calligraphy pen, and water-based Crayola and Tombow markers. And I think that's the base pack. Maybe not those exact brands, but a couple markers, a couple black pens is the base stationery pack that most early bullet journalers use. And over time, I follow a lot of creators. I've seen some incredible artists post their work. I've taken inspiration from a lot of people. And over time, I've tried watercolor and scrapbooking, and alcohol markers really hit it off for me. And I used a lot of alcohol markers in a lot of setups recently. And I don't see that necessarily being gone forever in the future. I, again, love alcohol markers and I love the way that they work. But when I use old-fashioned, quote old-fashioned, not really, but old-fashioned tools in my journal, like just a plain black pen, some plain coloring markers, as if I'm literally drawing a coloring book and then filling it out myself with very simple markers, it makes me feel like I'm back in my 20-20-year-old self. I'm back when bullet journaling was so peak on Instagram and everyone was posting their spreads. It makes me feel like I'm a little kid coloring in a coloring page. The vibes are immaculate. It's very hard to describe, but this is what I'm missing about bullet journaling, is just the simplicity and the fun behind it. One thing that keeps me coming back to journaling and still being inspired with my journal, even though I've been doing this for 7 years and I feel like I've done every single bullet journaling theme under the sun at this point, is just making changes, changing up your style, doing something different. And sometimes that doing something different is going back to where you started, So all that to say, my bullet journaling theme for February is not minimal. I'm in fact about to color in some disco balls. It's going to be very colorful, very bright, very in your face, but it reminds me a lot of some of the themes that I used to do in 2021-ish, 2022, bright, bold, water-based markers, kind of coloring book style pages, and it is just so fun. I had the best time making this setup. Yes, it was tedious. Yes, my hands turned literally pink and red because my markers were staining my fingers this entire video, but the end result, although it's not perfect, it's not the most technical, detailed art I've ever made in my entire life, it was, again, super fun. So let's talk about the theme itself. I'll stop rambling. Let's kind of get into what I'm actually doing here on screen. February is obviously the month of love, right? And recently, in past years, I've kind of strayed away from a very Valentine's heavy theme. I've done angels and cupids before. I think last year I did something totally off-brand. It was a book related spread. But this year I was you know what? I want to lean into the super hyper feminine Valentine's pink pop in your face kind of theme, and honestly I couldn't be more excited about it. I love this theme. It's so fun, it's so in your face. It actually reminds me a lot of Sheila Journals. I used to love her spreads. I don't believe that she posts anymore, but I used to love her spreads and how bold and colorful that they were. And instinctively, I think I was referencing her pages in my brain as I was coloring these, because I'm just literally using every shade of pink marker that I could find. I mean, not really, but almost, in my journaling collection. And I'm covering this entire spread with only pink. I used black line art to go around, the disco balls, which is really just big circles. I didn't do all of the individual cross-hatching inside of the balls themselves, but I drew the cherries, I drew the sparkles, the lettering, the calendar, some fake washi tape and strings and bows and stuff like that. But the life comes into the spread when I start adding the color in these disco balls, and I will teach you how to draw them in just a few minutes. We'll get there, I promise. But just adding saturation upon saturation and the high contrast between the highlights and the shadows on the disco balls with the very very, very light pink and the spots of only white, negative space for those highlights, and then the dark shadows on the disco balls. I don't know, it makes me like drool a little bit. Like I honestly love how this is turning out. I hate to like toot my own horn and like pat myself on the back too hard, but like I don't know, I'm enjoying this a lot. I hope that you guys like it because I'm like watching the time lapse. It's so satisfying seeing these disco balls come to life. Now, if you think about this like as an actual setting, disco balls hanging from the ceiling, it doesn't make a lot of sense because among the disco balls, I'm also doing more of like a scrapbooky theme here, but it's almost like I'm drawing the scrapbooking elements. I'm not actually using different types of lace and paper and ephemera and stickers to like make a scrapbooking spread, but I did draw like lace around the calendar, and I'm drawing these like fake washi tape strips, and the lettering for February I actually had so much fun with doing like different fonts overlapping as if it was a bunch of different like magazine cutouts that I had pasted on top of each other to make the cover page here. But again, it's not actually 3D, it's just me drawing it, you know? To make it seem a little more realistic, I probably could have pulled out a gray marker and added shadows to make it like pop off of the background. But because the disco balls are also supposed to be hanging from the ceiling, it's like I can't really do both hanging from the ceiling and scrapbooking on a piece of paper at the same time and make them both realistic. So I'm just like kind of allowing myself to suspend my disbelief here. Let's just kind of love the vibes and not think too hard about what actually is realistic versus what's not. It's pink and it's fun, okay? Don't think too hard about it. The best part of this entire spread, actually maybe not the best part, I like the disco balls a lot, obviously, I keep saying it, I need to shut up, but one of my favorite parts about the spread is the stripes in the background. I will pop in a picture here that I saw on Pinterest with a scrapbooking page that had these like very light pastel stripes is like the background of the scrapbooking, and I loved the design. It seemed so like minimal but also chic and like almost Parisian. I don't know, I love the almost like wallpaper sense of like the background with the stripes. So it took me a few minutes to imitate it with my markers, but I tried my best, and I think with all the different pink colors complementing each other, this cover page looks pretty dang good. Before we get any further in today's video, I want to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, who is ENMY. They very kindly sent me both their 80 pack of ink control acrylic markers and also their streak-free acrylic marker paper pack. And I'm going to be testing out both of these for you guys and giving you my full honest opinion on these two products. First, we're going to open this pack of paper. They pride themselves on creating really high quality paper, and I love this particular pack because not only is it made completely 100% out of cotton, so it is organic paper, but it also is 300 GSM thick, which if you didn't know is about twice as thick as most bullet journal papers. Now, acrylic markers, because it is acrylic paint, is not really going to bleed through paper unless you're using a lot of layers, but this particular paper is very thick and clean, and it allows for up to 10 layers of acrylic marker going over and over and over in one spot without any ghosting or bleeding or anything like that. Because the paper is also made with cotton and is organic, it is very absorbent, and so the ink will just sink into the thick paper, which is great because you know that sometimes I struggle with having ink just sit on top of the paper and not sink from other papers that I've tried in the past, and then when I put it in my bullet journal it can sometimes smear. But with the very thick paper that they provide, because it is so absorbent, you shouldn't have any problems with that. Now I'm cracking open their 80 pack of acrylic markers, and inside this pack it comes with two testing sheets, one on white cardstock paper and one on clear stickers, so you can try both on your own time, although we're only going to be testing on the white paper today. I will just note though, because acrylic markers are basically acrylic paint in a pen or in a marker, it makes it really easy to use on a lot of different surfaces, and acrylic marker paint or pigment will stick on a lot of different surfaces, including clear plastic like they provided for us. Also things like windows, wood, acrylic, pottery, ceramic. You can use these markers on a lot of different surfaces, not just paper, which is really great because they're so adaptable. The nibs are similar to a calligraphy or a brush pen in that they're triangular shaped, so if you wanted to, you could do some pretty extreme and elaborate calligraphy with these pens, but also if you hold them very lightly, you can get a very fine tip because the tip does come to a very sharp point at the very end. We're going to be color swatching all of the pens. Again, it is an 80 pack, so this did take me like 15 minutes to do, but we're going to be going through every single color so you can see a full range of what is available in this pack. My one big thing while doing all of this that I noticed is that there are quite a few cool tones in this pack. We see a lot of purple, blue, greens in here. I mean, there is a nice section of red and yellow, but I'm not noticing as many oranges and browns. However, I find that you can often find a lot of oranges and browns in other products because they seem to be more skin tone colors. So if you want a more saturated and bright color palette, this pack would be great because there are so many saturated colors here. And also there's a nice range of every color. We have different shades of blue, but also a light, medium, dark in every shade, for example. So you really can do a lot with this color palette here because it allows for a lot of flexibility depending on what your ideal project is. Acrylic marker is completely opaque, which means you can layer over things completely once it's dried with a different color. Even if that color is lighter, it will still work. So there's actually so many ideas that you can come up with using these markers, and I hope that you guys check them out. If you are interested in using ENMY, I will have a link in the description box below for you to go check out their products. I really love the acrylic markers, but this paper stands out to me. I think I'll really have to use this in my bullet journal very shortly. Thank you so much to ENMY for sponsoring this video and supporting my channel. And with that, let's get back to the bullet journal setup. Alrighty, so we are moving on to the next spread in this setup, which is going to be my monthly overview page. Now, I actually forgot when I was sketching all of my spreads for this entire month to add an academic planner page. I said in my last month update in January that I was going to do an academic planner page every single month during the semester, except for January because I only had 1 week of school in January, but I also forgot that, girl, you have school in February too. So yes, in hindsight, I should have added like maybe that have been the spread here instead of what I'm actually creating, but I'm just gonna end up doing weekly academic planners in my weekly spreads, and then hopefully in March I'll remember to add an entire monthly academic overview instead. Okay, someone hold me accountable with that. But this page is going to be very similar to one of the pages that I did in my January setup, just reversed. So in that spread, I had a goals planning page on the left and then a book tracker on the right. So now they're flopped. On the left, I have more of a brain dump style open page, but it's going to be where I'm going to track all of the books that I read in the month of February. I started this last month, although I still, as the time of recording, have yet to fill in that spread, but I just wanted to make a spot for me to write down all of the books that I read during a certain month, because I tend to read somewhere between like 5 to 8 books every month, and I just want to have a place to write that down outside of like the apps on my phone. So nothing crazy, just like maybe a few sentences about each book, what I rated it, something like that. But I just wanted to create the space for me to do it whenever the month is finished. That way it's already like pretty and decorated, and all I have to do is take a couple of pens and like actually write out the statistics at the end of the month. On the right hand side, we're gonna have my monthly like check-in goals page. So the first top part of this like check receipt, which I thought was so cute, again, kind of like scrapbooking, right? But it's just drawn paper instead of real paper. The first top half is going to be the goals that I have for myself for the month of February, which I'm not sure what they're going to be yet at this moment, but I want to just give myself some small aspirations and plans that I want to achieve in February. That way I can be making small steps towards my entire 2026 goals. And then the bottom half of the little check slip is going to be an end of the month check-in where I write down like how I did, you know, accomplishments and challenges. Again, I've yet to do this for my January setup. There are still a couple more days in the month, but when I get to the 31st, I will go back and look at all the things that happened in January and see if I accomplished those goals. I think as of right now, I'm on a really good track to do so. So hopefully by the time that the month is over, I will have accomplished everything. Again, cross your fingers for me. Now, when I was showing this bullet journal spread to my friends after I finished filming, they were all like really excited about the disco balls, and they were asking me like, how did I draw it? It seemed like it took me forever. And I'm not gonna lie, the first one was kind of intimidating, but then I got the hang of it, and literally each ball probably took me like 3 to 4 minutes max. It's so much easier than you think. So basically, my step-by-step process is I take a piece of washi tape and trace, or a roll of washi tape, and trace around the edge to make a perfect circle. Then I divide the circle into quarters, like one line down the middle, one line across. Then I do these like round, almost globe-like latitude and longitude lines across the entire thing. I maybe try to put a picture here on the screen of what I'm talking about, but it's a mix between like latitude and longitude lines and also like a basketball, you know? I make those lines in pencil though, just as a reference for me. Then I took my colors. So I had 6 shades of pink, 2 super light, 2 medium, and 2 dark. and I did them in sets of 2s. So I started with the very light because I wanted to leave space, a couple of white blocks where it would only be white paper. Oh, by the way, my camera cut out, so a couple minutes of footage I lost, but we'll move on to the last spread and I'm gonna draw another disco ball or two, so you'll see my process again. But when the longitude and latitude lines crossed and made these little squares, I left a couple of them blank for the highlights, and then I would take the lightest pink and draw a couple of like literally random squares around those that I purposefully left blank. And then around those, I would use a slightly darker color. And I also wanted to make sure that if you look at a picture of a disco ball, there are some highlights on one side, and then there's usually a couple of like counter highlights on the other side. So there may be a couple different spots in the disco ball where there were white sections, and then anything opposite to that in the opposite corners would be the darkest parts of the balls, right? So I just basically went from light to dark in random pixels, doing my best not to put two colors or two blocks of the same color next to each other. I tried to like variegate it enough. Is that even a word? Variegate? I think it is. Anyway, I tried to randomize the colors so that every block wasn't touching another block of its same color. And again, if you have 6 different markers, or 5, 7, something like that, it's much easier than if you only have like 2 or 3, but you can also layer markers. So if you don't have one dark enough, to add a second layer and it could be like another color. I'm rambling, but basically it was very randomized, very just like crossing my fingers and hoping. I looked at a couple of pictures of disco balls as a reference, but after 1 or 2, I really was just winging it. And that means that all of the like highlights and shadows may not be consistent across all of the disco balls in one page, because there may be like one where the light source is on the left and then another one on the same page where the light source is on the right. But I wasn't thinking too hard about that. I was just trying to make colorful disco balls, okay? And I think it turned out pretty good. So if you want a full tutorial, if you're still confused, comment down below. I can maybe make a YouTube short about this. But yeah, just try it yourself on a separate sheet of paper first, and you'll find that it's easier than you think it is. This last spread is going kind of quickly, but this was my weekly spread for the first 2 weeks of February. I have 2 rows each for each week, and then on the very right column I have 5 different blocks. That's my academic planner for the 2 weeks. Yes, the blocks are very small, I understand that. Am I gonna be able to write everything? I'm not sure. We literally just survived snowpocalypse in Texas, so we had 3 days out of classes, so my entire schedule for like all of my classes has been thrown out of whack, and I'm not quite sure what our workload is going to be like going forward because the semester just started. So we will see if this is enough room. I may have to make another spread simply for academic planning because again, I forgot the monthly overview page because I'm just, I don't know, forgetful or something. But the spread overall is very, very simple. I just wanted to make it, again, bursting with color, very heavily Valentine's-y. In fact, I also included a quote in the top right corner, which off memory I believe says, just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not happening. And I love this quote as just a little gentle reminder as we're going into this season. I love just including a little quote in the corner of my weekly spreads as something to remember during the weeks of February. Bit of a rambly voiceover today, but I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Here is the final flip through, so you can definitely see all the pages, especially the one where I lost some camera footage, my bad guys. As always, make sure to check out ENMY stationery. I'll have a link in the description box below for you to go check out, and thank you to them so much for sponsoring today's video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you very soon in my next video.